From Rixie, this is Debuff, and I'm your host, Steve Skeels. Hey guys, welcome back to Debuff. Steve here, and same as last week, got my co-hosts Sean Skeels, my brother, and Mason Carlton. And special guest this week on the line, Mason's brother Tanner Carlton.
Yep.
What's going on, guys?
That's all. I'm just gonna use air horn noises.
Yeah, we got
So,
Tanner
interview.
on the line.
Tanner is
there, so-
phoning
What's up?
in.
I'm on the line.
We phoned
Tanner
a
is-
friend.
Tanner is phoning in on this call. Tell us, Steve, what are we going to talk about with Tanner?
So today we all wanted to talk about Outer Worlds. Sean played it a bunch in the last year, and then Mason just picked it up, so I got it, and also Tanner got it. So we all played a bit.
Yep,
So-
I got it.
So the reason I picked it up was because Sean was like, "Oh, you got to pick this up," and it was discounted at Target, and so I was like, "All right, I'll get it for Switch." And then we all kind of, I guess, came together and we're like, "This would be a great topic."
Yeah, I just got it on Game Pass, so I could play for a handful of hours and talk about it.
Yeah, and
Nice.
Tanner got it as well about a day ago, so he's gonna give his input as best he can. But he's here.
Yeah, I've really only put like 2 hours into it, but
That's okay.
That's what we thought.
But he's also here for one other reason. And Tanner, do you want to tell the people why that is?
you know what? I'd prefer to sing it to you guys,
Sing
like
it.
kind of awkwardly. I just want you guys to sit there and listen to me sing it a cappella.
You could just tell me.
No, I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna sing to you.
Sing the whole thing,
Oh.
the whole song.
No, just the intro, okay? Here goes. Reality isn't agreed on. Hallucination may we feed on. No simple pleasure, there's no theme song. Play us out, take us up on this ground we lean on. Take us up, I don't mind going up or down now.
Perfect.
All right, that's it.
that was great. So
Maddie
it's-
just walked over and
Little
harmonized with me
it
over
was
the phone.
great.
You know?
That was absolutely amazing.
So yeah, that's why I'm here, just to sing to you guys.
Explain to the people why you're here.
While you were singing.
Well, I was going to talk to you guys about Outer Worlds, but also I got a new single out. So if you want to check that out, that'd be cool. My name's Tanner Carlton, and it's called As Long As I'm With You.
Where can people find it?
On everything,
The internet.
on the internet.
Spotify, Apple
Yes,
Music,
you know, all the
YouTube
streaming
Music.
services.
Deezer.
Bandcamp if you use it. SoundCloud if you use it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, go check it out, everybody.
So, I mean,
Slaps.
I would say, as the guest, Tanner, tell us your first basic impressions of the game.
Wow, yeah, I really like it so far. I mean, I'm not that big of a gamer, so probably not the right person to chime in first. But I will say that I'm a big fan of all the Fallout games that I've played, and it felt like a pretty honest transition from those games so far. Obviously the graphics are like pretty solid from the last Fallout games that I played, and I think the coloration of the game feels like really new age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of the colors in the game feel really like kind of bright and like neon outlined,
It's not the
which is super
wasteland.
cool.
Yeah, it's very.
It isn't the wasteland, yeah, but it is also for some reason like super heavy and kind of depressing at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Feels
it's
like a scathing review of like capitalism in space, which is
I love it.
Yeah,
which is spot on. Yeah, I mean it's
that's honestly like my favorite part is just how many stabs they take at capitalism in that game. Like,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
and log into every computer and read every email you can, and all of them are so funny at making fun of capitalism. So,
dude, I need to be better about that. I'm so like blunt headed when I play these games. I'm just like, fuck the emails. I'm good. Oh, am I allowed to cuss on this show?
Yes.
You got to
Oh,
at least click
alright,
on them
well,
and see if you get
dude,
quests. And
Dude, we're
shit,
gonna
too.
beep it out.
So
Yeah, I kind of just let the the quests kind of appear in like my
yeah,
what are
it's-
they like
Quest log.
the logs
Your
and stuff
journal.
like that.
Yeah, it's the journal, I guess,
Um,
in this, but yeah.
Dude, I missed like a version of the Pip Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
true.
missed that.
I mean, so
I missed that.
it's definitely not supposed to be Fallout though. Like it's
Yeah.
made by
It's
Obsidian,
true.
who did Fallout New Vegas, right?
They
But
also made
Yeah.
Fallout in the first place,
yeah,
so
fair.
but they're the old like CRPGs, the isometric
Okay,
PC
yeah.
games.
Yeah, the ones that
Yep.
I've never played, so I can't
They're
talk about them.
they're not my favorite, but
I haven't played those either. I have not played those either.
Yeah, I think the like retro futurism is pretty cool because it feels like
Dude, the art's great.
the art is so good. I mean,
Yeah,
and the
it
you know,
feels 80s,
it-
right? I mean,
yeah.
something like that.
I mean, it's funny because I was just thinking about it. Tanner is playing on Xbox One. I am playing on Switch, and you guys are both playing on PC, correct?
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're seeing the
There we
whole
go.
gamut of this game, and I think on the Switch it looks the softest. I will say.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
The graphics are not amazing, but I will say it looks a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, when I saw you playing just
There we
for a little
go.
bit the other day, it looks better than what like the reviews made it sound like. Though I don't know. I mean, have you had any performance issues?
There's definitely some
Like stuttering?
frame rate
Yeah.
issues, especially when you go into is it called groundwater? The
Oh,
spaceship
Groundbreaker.
Yeah,
Groundbreaker.
Yeah.
Because there's a
Okay.
ton of like lighting and assets and everything, and but it definitely, I mean, yeah, it absolutely feels like a Fallout game. But is it Obsidian that also makes what is that game franchise? Mass Effect?
No,
No.
it's BioWare.
I get Mass Effect vibes from the interaction.
with the like companions and stuff.
Yeah.
That's very much
Oh,
like
okay.
old computer RPG stuff though. I mean, they worked on Knights of the Old Republic 2, I think. I think Obsidian made that, which
Yeah.
originally was BioWare. But yeah, I mean that's classic for those kind of games. I feel like Mass Effect was the first one that on consoles really.
and just the way that you like do dialogue with certain
Yeah.
people, it for some reason I just get a massive, and I didn't even really play Mass Effect, but I've seen enough gameplay to
Yeah.
be like, this gives me that vibe of interacting with people.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I mean, it's that same type of gameplay.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
I will probably say, Tanner. I mean, I don't know if you're far enough into it yet to know this, but it might be helpful for you to know is that with any game like this, a lot of times you have to make a decision. Like Fallout 3, you gotta the bomb, right? You gotta
Yeah,
figure out
like
what to
Of
do with the
course,
bomb, right?
yeah.
like factions.
So there are choices you have to make in this game, but certain ones have certain trails after you make a decision. So you could make a decision that you don't feel good about, but sometimes there's an option for you to like redeem yourself in a way.
Yeah, to right the course.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's not necessarily that you undo your action, but you do something that maybe makes you feel a little bit better about the choice that you just made, which I don't feel like with Fallout or Skyrim or any other massive RPG from Bethesda, it's always like you made the choice and now you live with it, right? Whereas
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
there's a I don't want to give any spoilers for anybody listening or for anyone on the call or in the room. But but if there's a choice you make very early on in the game, and like depending on which you choose, there's an option afterwards that allows you to like feel a little bit better about what you did. I mean, I play this game.
Yeah, and almost reverse that, good or bad.
Yeah, right. And so
Ah,
yeah, I mean it's a really cool idea.
I
Like
think I know the choice that you're referring to.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I'm taking the road less traveled then on that one.
You might be.
I don't know.
was
I
just
changed my
all
mind.
Let me ask you this, Tanner.
Talking code.
Are
right
you
Yeah.
using guns or are you using melee?
now. I'm using guns, but I do have. I mean, I obviously have a couple melee weapons.
What are you using the rifle? Are you using the like pistol? What are you using?
I found a machine gun
So
pretty
like,
quickly. I mean, not super quickly, like within the first 2 hours. And oh man, yeah, I needed it because okay, so that's the cool thing, and this might have been in the last Fallout. Again, that's what I keep sort of relating this game to, but the heavy armor robots, like the Sentinels that run around.
yeah,
The first time I came up against one and died almost immediately.
Yeah. They're
you
hard.
can't knock you can't kill those things with just like your average
Well, so
handgun in that game.
most enemies, like the robots, have a weak spot. So like there's on the center of the ones with 4 legs, there's a
Yeah,
blue spot. The big giant, like uh, the guys who walk on 2 legs that are massive. I don't remember what they're called in the game. If you look by their legs, there's 2 blue areas that you can shoot to pretty much fuck them up.
Yeah, that's something I just figured out
nice.
in the past few hours
Yeah,
of
I just
playing.
figured that out too in
So,
like the last 20 minutes of that.
and that's the thing, Tanner. I'm gonna ask you about this, but so the way that they have kind of made so in Fallout, Tanner, if you remember, they had VATS where you could essentially stop the game,
Yeah,
pick where you want to shoot, and then use action points
of
to
course.
to
Yeah,
shoot. And so in this game, they made it so that you have quote unquote time dilation.
love that.
And
Love that.
I just recognized because when you go into time dilation, you can see blind, you can see maim, you can see like
Yeah.
cripple.
So
Yeah,
And
you
I
have to.
just
Oh, I
found
didn't
No.
know that.
You get
I didn't know that.
if you get to level
There we
20
go.
with I think it's level 20. If you get to level 20 with a long range weapons, then you unlock that ability to blind people or
okay,
or
well,
maim.
I got that early.
Yeah.
And so I just found if you look around the chest,
Yeah.
there is a option to it's not exterminate. Is it
Execute?
execute. There's
Yeah.
an execute option.
So I think that also depends on the
Ooh.
gun you're using.
So so I just found that I was on like one of the asteroid planets and it was like blind, maim, and then it was like execute, but it's a very small window.
Yeah.
And so I was
Well,
like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I've just been headshotting people."
On the same note, I will say that this is my second time playing through it. The gun that I choose every single time I can find it in the game is the Deadeye assault rifle. If you can find that gun,
I think that's the one I just found.
it has the ability for execute. And so
okay.
the further away you are, like the more deadly the weapon is. So, I mean, like I before I came over here, I shot someone in the head and did like 600 fucking damage. So
Yeah.
it's honestly like I think that they did it right with this game. Like I don't feel like there's any groundbreaking. Like you can't break the game. It's not as buggy as like most Bethesda games are.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never come into like a situation where I feel like I can't move forward. Like, and it's not as like graphically buggy either. So
Well,
Definitely.
I do feel like I know it's supposed to be shorter, which I understand. That's fine. I don't care about that. It's like typically 20 to 30 hours is what most people say for a playthrough. But I like that it is a smaller game. Like they made it smaller and they polished it a lot. It's not open world. If people haven't played it, it's smaller maps that you go to. We talked about it a little bit, Mason, but it's more like reminds me of Borderlands where there's different
Yes.
regions you go to and it feels open-ish, but in this game you just have a spaceship and you go planet to planet and stuff, and I like that because it feels more contained. You go through an area, there's not as many, you know, moments where I'm just wandering across the wasteland hoping to run into something or
Yeah.
whatever. You're
Mhm.
clearing out smaller places, and I feel like they did a really good job and they were probably able to like quality control that a lot better.
Tanner, did you
Yeah,
ever
that makes
play
sense.
Borderlands game?
I think like
Borderlands?
maybe once. I'm like familiar with the title,
I love
and
them.
I
It's
feel like I remember playing it multiplayer though.
Yeah,
well,
those are.
the thing I mentioned this to Sean and Steve off the podcast, but it has like those yellow crates that you can find, Tanner.
Yeah.
That is
Yep.
like
straight
almost
out of
a
Borderlands.
straight
Yeah.
rip from
Well-
Borderlands. Like the way that like every time you find something in Borderlands, it's usually in like a yellow crate with like a neon light on.
Yeah,
it.
there's always green light
Okay.
everywhere you want to loot stuff in
Yeah.
Borderlands, so it's obvious. That game
Okay,
is
yeah. See, I noticed that too. That is something new to sort of like seemingly this ecosystem of games
Yeah.
was the neon light surrounding like anything that you're trying to pick up.
Now, did Tanner
I'm
have
kind
you-
of bummed I can't pick up literally everything. Is
Yeah.
it weird that I missed that?
No, I mean, I don't
Is
know.
it
I'm
weird
glad.
that I want to pick up buckets and sleeping bags and
Oh, I get it. Now, Tanner, did you play Fallout 4?
I didn't.
Okay.
I
It
did
has-
not. It's
It
just
has
so
a lot of
ridiculous 'cause
I think it has a
people
lot of
love that one.
I think it has a lot of Fallout 4 vibes, like where the graphics are a lot better. It for me it mirrors Fallout 4 a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like 4 as much as I did the
Yeah,
other
I mean I
ones,
didn't
though.
like it as much, but as far as the graphics are concerned, and um, I don't know. I feel like it has similarities to that, but
I think I just bought
That's
that on
fair.
Steam. I have not played it yet though.
it's fun. It's really fun.
I just didn't really like the leveling system, and the base building was like
Yeah, that.
kind of lame.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I do own it.
Well, Tanner,
Hmm.
do you have anything else to say? I think I'll have Steve talk you out.
Dude.
yeah, you got
Yeah.
last remarks?
Yeah, I'm really excited to play more of it. Like I said, I'm only 2 hours in, but so far so good. I recommend it to anyone who likes. I mean, likes the Fallout series. Can I do that? I mean,
I mean,
similar ideas,
it's
right?
totally like Obsidian was like, we're gonna make a Fallout game since Bethesda owns the IP now. We're just gonna do our own thing. So it's an apt comparison, dude. You don't have to
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
Well,
shy away
I
from it.
recommend it. I definitely recommend it, and I thank you, Sean, for the recommendation, getting us all on this.
Hey man, anytime.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't already, check out Tanner's newest song, "As Long as I'm with You," and any of his great tunes as well. Thanks for talking to us, man.
Yeah. See
Yeah.
you guys.
Later, man. All right. Once again, I want to thank Tanner for calling in. Maybe occasionally get some other special guests on.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you check out his single, It Slaps. And now that he's off the phone, we had to plug in another input so we could demonstrate the soundboard.
Demonstrate. I was gonna do the Among Us
Yeah,
one.
got a whole range of sounds here. What do you got there?
Tons of sounds.
Like,
Let's see.
looks like 40
We got
right
some.
there.
Yeah, we got
maybe
some
more.
some Kroll Show.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, that's great. We got a dedicated Steve button.
Steve,
That's good.
Yeah.
I got the cookie duster.
Cookie duster.
it's a cookie duster.
It's a cookie duster.
Jesus.
Long story short, we got the soundboard,
Yeah.
and that's what matters. We delivered on our
Yeah.
promise.
So we said first week we got
we
it.
said we were gonna do it, and we did it.
So there it is.
And so yeah, we've got that. You might hear those intermittently in the background, and if you do, enjoy them.
Yeah, it's gonna be
But,
great. If you got any recommendations,
If you
hit
have
us up on
yes,
Instagram.
if you have recommendations for the soundboard, feel free to hit us up on DMs on Instagram at DebuffPod. That's DEBUFFPOD.
There you go.
DebuffPod.
Debuff Pod.
So yeah, what's going on around the horn?
I guess one thing I saw a couple days ago, whatever I wanted to talk about, is the article came out that 20 years ago Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo. I guess it was when they were trying to get IPs to launch the Xbox, and they went around getting some. That's when they got Bungie for Halo and stuff. But the articles made it basically said that they got laughed out of the conference room.
Now, do you guys remember when the original Xbox was released? Was it
Early 2000.
Was it like 2001, 2002?
I don't know. It was definitely a child.
2001, November 15th.
2001. So then
Yeah.
that would have been. Do you think that was pre
Yeah.
2001?
I imagine it was when because they were going to launch a console, and they were like, we need some companies. And it's weird to think about, because the only time in my life I can remember specifically Nintendo not doing well was with the Wii U, and even
Yeah.
then they survived, but that was like their major flop. But I feel like a lot of their other consoles besides the Wii actually didn't sell amazingly well. I forget that, because we had Nintendo 64 and GameCube and stuff. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I guess Microsoft was like, same thing they're kind of doing now. We got money, let's go offer a bunch of places. And Nintendo makes great games, but sometimes their consoles don't do amazingly. The Switch is killing it.
Yeah.
But they've always been best at handheld, so I feel like it made sense for Microsoft to go and try to acquire a big name. But wouldn't that be crazy?
I just can't. It would be absolutely nuts.
I
because
feel like Microsoft does this a lot, where they take and buy an IP like or a company like Rare,
Yeah,
and just like doesn't do anything.
Well, yeah,
with it, right?
they
Like,
killed Rare basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I freaked out when they talked about when they were buying ZeniMax and Bethesda, because I was like, I don't want them to just end
Yeah.
that franchise, Elder Scrolls and Fallout
Yeah.
and everything else that they've done. I don't think they're going to do that with that.
No.
It's a huge, following behind those. But I mean, I wonder if that would have been like the last Mario game, right? Or whatever. Star Fox, we'd never see that again.
Well, we
that-
probably won't see that anymore anyways, but
That's true.
It's interesting that you say that, because what would the last 15 or 20 years of Nintendo been had they been purchased? It could have been it would be, I think, completely different than it is now.
yeah. I mean, I brought up before, like, Sega died. They basically they don't make consoles anymore. They still make games and they have great franchises, right? But if Nintendo were to do that, but only for Xbox, one thing that would be weird is, I mean, it would pretty much be two consoles. One's the Eastern, one's the Western console, like Sony and Microsoft. So that'd be kind of strange. Like, if you're buying American, you buy Xbox, but then they got Mario on it or whatever.
Yeah, so that's one. On that same topic, I didn't realize this till I just was looking at the Wikipedia page trying to find out when they started development on the Xbox. That the Xbox, the first generation Xbox, was the first console offered by an American company after the Atari Jaguar stopped sales in 1996.
Yeah.
So between 1996 and 2001, it was entirely
Nintendo
yeah.
and Sony.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess you don't think about that PlayStation is technically, Sony is a Japanese company.
Yeah, I mean, I do because they got a lot of
I mean,
JRPGs
well,
on there that I like. But
yeah,
you're
I mean,
right. I mean,
But you don't think about it
No.
because I have always felt that the PlayStation, especially the PlayStation 2, was an American console, but it really isn't.
well, one thing that's weird now too is that, like, Sony's really trying hard to set up base in the West, and like all of the big first party games for PlayStation 4 were not Japanese. I mean, like The Last of Us and
Yeah.
Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War,
Yeah.
Spider-Man, like all those are
It's true.
are not like, classic, Japanese developers or anything that they've, I don't know. It's weird, but and I guess back in the day too, like Crash Bandicoot was Naughty Dog, the same company that makes The Last of Us and
Yeah,
stuff.
I didn't
so-
realize that was made by Naughty Dog, but now that I'm thinking about the intro to
Yeah.
Crash, that definitely says Naughty Dog.
Right. But
It is crazy because, I mean, when I think of Naughty Dog, I think of it's either Jack or Ratchet and Clank.
both.
Both.
Oh, well, actually, no, I don't know, but I don't know if they made which one they made, but you're right. I get what you're saying.
They did make Jack's.
Jack. Okay, I feel like
Oh,
Ratchet and Clank.
Jack. Sorry.
Jack.
Jack and Dexter.
I feel like Ratchet and Clank is not them. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, then
But
that's,
those
yeah.
were like the
But,
big
and that's
games.
what I'm saying. Like, Jack is not
No.
like, it is not realistic in any
You're
sense
right.
of the word. It is caricatured,
yeah.
characterized. Who is Ratchet and Clank?
That's Insomniac
Yeah,
Games.
that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Who makes
okay.
Spider-Man now?
Who makes Spider-Man? So it's like these huge leaps from companies that made games that were like fun character,
Yeah.
but like not based in reality.
Well, what do you think about if they had bought Nintendo then? Because like Mario, obviously stupid cartoony type
But
animation.
I feel like Microsoft's been missing that, right? Like, they've not really had any like kid-friendly, quote-unquote, titles
Yeah.
that.
Is Psychonauts Microsoft?
yeah, but that's not kid friendly. I don't
Yeah,
think.
that's
Well,
not
yeah, not kid friendly, but like
the cartoony,
Yeah,
like
cartoony.
mascot type.
yeah.
thing.
I mean, I feel like when I think of
Well-
Xbox, all I can see is like Halo and like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's first
I
person shooter.
feel like they bought Rare trying to have IPs, and what they tried to do, they killed. Like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was stupid.
oh my god,
Perfect Dark was dumb, which I guess isn't kid-friendly. They did make, I'm pretty sure Viva Pinata was Rare, right? And that, I think, was their stab at like trying to make a kids game. But
They could not have fucked up the Banjo-Kazooie franchise harder with that piece of shit game.
they let them put them in Smash. though.
Honestly, I'm such a big fan, and I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? This is not a game that has any, like, I'm sorry.
To be
I
fair,
could talk about
there
that
is
for
a whole
long
nother
time.
Banjo game you haven't played. So-
Yes, but
The first one.
yes, but at the same time, Like
I know what you're saying,
Banjo
dude.
Kazooie and
Yeah.
Banjo Tooie were so like rooted in the same realm that like what the fuck were they thinking? I don't know.
I do feel like the collectathon 3D platformers are not as great anymore. I mean, Mario always does well, but
Yeah.
But I mean, I may be wrong here, but Microsoft doesn't develop any game on their own.
no, but I feel like it's similar to how, well,
Because 343
Yeah.
and Bungie did Halo.
you're right.
What is it? Who did Gears of War? Oh Jesus.
I
Yeah.
feel like their name is
I can see it in my
the
head.
like
The
name of-
Coalition?
yeah. But so you're right, but I feel like Nintendo has teams that are owned by Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
But they're the Nintendo label. We don't know. Like, I only know that the Splatoon team is the same team that works on Animal Crossing because the internet told me that. I don't know that there's anywhere in the
That is a
Yeah.
good
like
point. I
credits
haven't thought
that
about
say this team in Nintendo. But I feel like it's not that much different. It's not like there's just one Nintendo team, right? They have a bunch that work on. I mean, you're right.
But they're rooted, I feel like in making things together, and I feel like, Halo
Yeah.
and, or I'm
343
Microsoft and Sony are more like we're gonna acquire these great companies rather than actually be like we are fully invested in this game.
Sony does a lot of. I mean, they have some that they own, like God of War is made by a Sony studio, Sony Santa Monica. But they did also a lot of like, we'll pay just to have this first party, like Bloodborne. I love. It's never going anywhere else because Sony was like, we'll pay to publish it if you just don't release it on anything else, right?
Yeah.
So they do
Which-
that type of shit too.
God, I hate
I
that
just can't
so
imagine
much.
if like we didn't have Nintendo, or what if Nintendo and Microsoft, they were bought by them and they were like helping Microsoft make handhelds or some shit where
Well, hey man, it would be nice because then I could play all of these Switch games on the PC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. these
Xbox Game Pass.
walls- These walls that they build up, like the fact that I have to buy a Sony console to play the Spider-Man game, like
but the thing is that I
it's
mean,
fucking bullshit.
well, first
dude.
of all, Sony itself also owns like the rights to putting like Spider-Man media franchises, Marvel, Disney has to pay to have Spider-Man in
yes,
MCU.
which has been an
So,
issue in the past, but
yeah.
is honestly I think working out for the best
But
now.
But you're right, it is kind of whack. I do feel like, what else do you do though to get people to buy your box? Like the one that looks the coolest. There's
You're
other
right.
features, but I only bought a PlayStation 4 because of Bloodborne.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can look at it the same way with Apple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
and-
Apple
and-
and with Switch. I'm with Nintendo. I mean,
I mean,
I
they are
just
both
wish-
very walled gardens that you cannot like.
you're
most
right.
most of the time. No, never mind. I'm not going to say
well,
that.
I also want to say that I understand it's also owned by Microsoft Windows, but I've talked a bit in the past on Debuff about what Microsoft's doing with Game Pass and how they put all of their exclusive games on PC so that, again, I know Windows is theirs, but like you can just have a PC and play all of these new Xbox exclusives. They don't really care. You can stream them on your phone with Game Pass. Like,
Which I personally think is the future of gaming. I think breaking down those barriers so that we can actually play any game we want, because in my opinion, if I could play the Amazing Spider-Man, or is it just Spider-Man?
yeah, Spider-Man.
On
Spider-Man's.
whichever
The
console I
Spider-Mans.
want, Sony is still going to get a piece of that. And
Yeah.
so you're essentially giving more people access to things that you partially own that they can buy. It doesn't make any sense, like the fact that they're guarding these things. I mean,
Just look at Obsidian. We're all playing it on different consoles, right? Can you get? I'm sorry. The
Outer
Outer
Worlds.
Worlds.
Yeah.
We're all playing that on different consoles. Can you get that for PlayStation?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But Avowed is going to be an Xbox
Yeah.
exclusive made by Obsidian, which I'm super excited for that game. But
am
at
too.
the same time, it's like the same developer is making a game that's only going to be playable on two systems, Windows and Xbox. Which, I mean, it's not the first time it's happened, right? But like, why?
Yeah.
Why
Microsoft bought them.
Oh, they did buy Obsidian?
Yeah.
Oh well, never mind then.
Well,
This is
yeah,
what I have
sorry.
to
I
say.
thought, yeah, that's why. I mean,
I
it's,
didn't hear that. I must have missed that.
When I think about not being able to play the games I want,
I've heard enough there, fella.
Yep.
that's how I feel. I've heard enough.
well, I don't know. I mean, the last thing I will say is that this has come up recently too, with like Epic being dicks about Fortnite on mobile and stuff. Is that
Yeah.
they like when you are on a platform, the platform gets a cut of that. So
Yeah, you pay
when-
those platforms fees.
And so if Sony had some kind of first party game put on Xbox and they get a percentage of it, they're also losing 30% that goes to Microsoft just for having it there. And they'd rather sometimes get, less, maybe less money overall, or less sales at least, to potentially get more money.
The way
You're the sales guy.
I know. Well, not even. I
know.
feel like if
Hey, come on, businessman.
I think of it this way, if I can buy a product, if I'm selling a product, do I want it in 10 mom and pop shops, or do I want it in 1,000 Walmarts? Or 10
But it
Walmarts?
depends.
You're
It dep-
straight up buying
Or-
into capitalism,
Or
there, buddy.
Yeah.
five mom and pop shops and 5 Walmarts.
I think
Honestly,
I
I
think-
want people to be able to buy my product wherever. And I understand that everybody has to have their, their thing to buy my box, like you said. But I'm sorry, but I think it is so, that is an old way of thinking, and that needs to fucking die. I really think they need to quit their fucking bullshit. Now I understand that they have to make ports for each console, and that can fuck up a game. We've seen it with Cyberpunk. We saw it when it's getting played on Xbox One and PS4. It's not made for those consoles. But like Outer Worlds is a great example. It plays well on all these consoles, and it's so smart. I just saw on your screen Sea of Thieves a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
I can't play that on Switch. That fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's-
want to play that game.
I know.
It's such a basic game.
But dude, again, it's owned by Microsoft.
I know.
That's rare too, right?
I feel
Like-
like in 15 or 20 years, this whole thing about like, oh, you got to buy this console or you got to buy this box or this, it's like, dude, fuck all that. We need to have essentially free reign to play any game anywhere.
Do you not feel like that's what Nvidia and Google are trying to do with Stadia? Or
I do feel like that.
Kind of, but that's still like they're only going to get third-party games, except for Stadia got Guilt or whatever.
Yeah, they
those
got
are
like
First-party.
Destiny and they got
but that's a step
fucking
in that direction.
Assassin's Creed.
Well, even Microsoft has said the same, that they're like, we're not competing with Sony or Nintendo anymore. We're doing our own thing. They want
Yeah.
Game Pass. They'd probably put it on those consoles to some degree, but it would be because you're not buying games on that. You're paying
yeah.
Microsoft a subscription.
I mean, I think you're right about that. Like, but what sucks is, I mean, it's becoming the situation we're in with like Netflix, Disney
Yeah.
Plus, Apple Plus, like where you're gonna have to subscribe to 3 different providers to stream those games. I mean, I got Stadia for free. You got Stadia for free. You
I
paid
for it. I
money
got
for
the
it and
Founders
never
Edition,
opened it.
Never opened it.
And I was like, well, I just want the controller and the free Chromecast because that's what it came with.
Yep.
I got it for being a subscriber to Google Play Music, YouTube Music for however many years.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, this is going to be trash. And it's not. Like, it is way better than I thought it would be. And so
Yeah.
I think that step in that direction where, one, you don't have to buy a console. You can play it on a piece of toast, essentially,
Yeah.
is going to be where we're moving towards. We're not there yet because not everyone has a fast enough internet connection. And I mean, we don't have the most blazing fast internet. We've got, 100 meg down, which is still pretty damn fast, but you have 3 times as much as that.
Yeah, I don't know how.
So, because I don't pay Comcast any more money than I need to pay them.
I think I pay $75 a month.
That's what I pay.
That's what I'm saying. I don't pay premium. It doesn't matter. What I think though is I
That's
think that
bullshit.
there is
I'm fucking pissed.
like there needs to be, I think, a democratization of these games that like for example, I talked to you guys about this. I think I talked to you guys about this a few weeks ago off the podcast. If I want to play Banjo-Tooie, right now I have two options. I have to get an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One or a Series X, which has rare replay, which is nice. Not Banjo-Kazooie, just Banjo-Tooie. Or I have to go and buy an N64. The fact that,
Or you can emulate it.
or I can, but legally I'm saying, and that goes for NES, SNES, any of the older consoles. The fact that Nintendo and Sega and whoever it is, those companies have not gone to like Stadia or some service where they're like, you can play our entire library, which like most of those, like the NES library is what, like a gig, because all those games are tiny. Like the fact that you can't go somewhere and play those like that, like you have to pay the selected
You
ones.
can, well, you can play Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
On
Rare replay.
Rare replay? Okay.
I mean, unless I'm reading this wrong, it says the titles in bold are backwards compatible with compatible Xbox 360 titles, Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie.
Okay.
I want to say
So amend
Banjo-Kazooie
that.
was
You
also downloadable on its own. I remember that
Yeah.
on 360.
Okay. But there's only two options,
Okay.
right? And now,
But-
granted, those are good options.
Emulation.
But that's for a very popular game.
Yeah.
What about the more obscure ones? I would love to see some sort of service like Stadia where you pay a flat rate and you can access all of these old games that you could very easily play like on Stadia or something, or Game Pass.
Let me just say, I understand, but you know
Legally,
the
I'm
reason.
saying,
You know the
legally.
reason is money, and definitely Nintendo is fucking stupid for not putting all of those games on, their online service. They're like, hey, $20 a year, which is nothing. So most people are like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You get some NES, some SNES, but if they were like, pay $10 more and you have all the SNES, NES games, I would do that. If
In
they
a
were like,
second.
$20 or even $10 extra a month to have N64.
Yeah, I mean,
back
that thing
On
is,
my
is
Switch, whenever.
it is, powerful enough to run N64. I mean, we've already seen it in Super Mario All-Stars. Like that,
Yeah.
Mario 64 is straight up emulated.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
to me, it's like I don't know what Nintendo's thinking. Like, only thing I can think is they're gonna release another fucking N64 Mini or GameCube Mini that has emulated versions of those games. But
Which is such a
yeah, I mean,
stupid model.
the market.
I think it's cool.
I think it's cool. But
It is a
like,
dumb model, but
like-
I
yeah,
bought
but like
'em.
I can't play the entire like.
You're right.
SNES, like there were a couple games I wanted to play that were not on
Yeah,
the
100%.
SNES Mini. So N64 is going to be the top 20 games that were popular at the time.
Let's hope it's the ones that you like.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like just a gamble of whether or not it's going to be something that includes the
And
game you want to fucking
That
play.
is my problem. And I will say,
So, as someone who would like to create the summarization of what I have just said in finality,
in finality, first and first, mostly,
First and first, mostly for me.
if there was a service where I could pay a certain amount a month to access, even if it was like Sega does one, Nintendo does one, they would print money. If I want to play Ocarina of Time, for example, the only way I can play it is maybe on the Wii or the Wii U, but
3DS.
I know I can play it on the 3DS, which is where I played it, or the N64, and that is so dumb.
Do you?
I just take my fucking money. It's that stupid
Yeah.
Fry meme. Like,
I love
why
it,
are they? They're just like, I can't believe the board of directors aren't like, release the fucking games, you idiots.
My conspiracy theory is that they want to have the option for when they're hurting, and they're like, all right, guys, dude, release the floodgates.
Yeah.
I get that.
Do you guys feel like maybe I'm alone in this, but just in on that same note, say you do get access to all of Nintendo's back catalog.
I know what you're going to say.
Emulation, same situation. I have unlimited access to anything that Nintendo, Sony has ever put out. Do you ever feel like you get like paralysis?
Yeah.
From like the choices you have, like choice paralysis.
Yeah, and I
Of
wouldn't
course.
play them all by any means.
Yeah,
Of
I mean-
course. And I'm not going to play them all, but the fact
No.
is, like, I don't understand, because there's clearly a massive community and a massive market, especially with like Chinese ripoffs on Alibaba and AliExpress, of like, oh yeah, here's literally a Android box that we stocked with 14,000 games that we're doing it illegally, and they're making thousands, millions of dollars off of these like pirated copies when Nintendo could just do it. And the same goes with Sony with PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 1 games. They're being emulated, and it's like, why are you guys not just making your brand new next gen console backwards compatible to all of your old titles? Is it that difficult?
That part of it is some of it is like PS3 is really hard to emulate, just the way that I don't know shit about
Well, that's
programming,
what.
but
Yeah,
the
I'm asking. I'm not sure.
the architecture, whatever they did to create that, was like a pain in the ass. And even porting games at the time, multi-platforms had difficulty. I don't know if you remember, there were definitely games that launched later on PS3 just because they needed more time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are you trying to say?
Here's the thing. And I'll shut up after this. I think it is clear, at least to me, maybe not to you guys, but I think it is to you guys, that there is a huge market of retro gaming that is not being recognized by Nintendo, by Sony, by Microsoft, where they just want to play old games and they want to do it on whatever console they want, ideally the one that is like the most newest or portable. And I feel like they haven't done that yet, and I don't understand why, because they would have my money.
Yeah, no, I mean, I partially agree. I do feel like they have some reasons. Remasters.
I'm sorry, I'm dying on this hill. I know
No,
I just
I
spent
know, but
20 minutes yelling about that, and you guys are probably saying,
I've heard enough there, fella.
so, you know.
I just feel like part of it's definitely, I mean, money. If they put all of, the best Xbox original games, some streaming service or whatever, they can't go back and do Master Chief remaster of Halo 1 and, which they did, but I'm saying like $60 remaster they could do instead of putting them all somewhere for $10. And Nintendo knows, I don't know about you guys, how many times I've bought certain Nintendo games, like just for no reason on, the 3DS, the Wii, whatever. I bought the original Super Mario Brothers probably 10 times and I've never beaten it. So,
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like I have like 4 copies of Oblivion, Game of the Year edition. I have like at least 3 copies of Skyrim, Need for Speed Underground 2 from PlayStation 2.
Well, I mean, yeah, they did the same thing with Minecraft. I own it for PC Java edition. I own it for Android. I own it for Windows Store edition, and I owned it for Xbox 360. So that's
And
4
Switch.
copies. So 5 copies of fucking Minecraft.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I play the shit out of, but like now I play it for like a day, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm bored of this.
I would like to see like numbers of games that are strictly on one console and games that are ported, like Outer Worlds or Minecraft. Which ones, like, if you took a sample size of like maybe 10 games and on each side, and to see if like, did Outer Worlds make more money in total across the board than Spider-Man for PS4? Like, I'd be curious to know, because that's when like these major companies are like, maybe we should fucking port them because we're gonna make a ton more money. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I'm not doing that homework.
This is what I'm saying. I'm gonna need you to go home and figure this out.
I'll run some math.
And let me try and find a sound that would hurt. Oh, Sega.
We did say Sega.
All right, we're running way long, but make your last point.
Yeah, sorry, Sean, if you got something to say. The last thing I want to say about that too, though, is probably for some games it would be more on multi-platform, but part of the problem too is that first-party titles get a shit ton of funding sometimes and a lot more advertising sometimes, and are typically games that appeal, like Spider-Man. I mean, most popular superhero, that game's obviously do gangbusters, but continue.
Make your final point.
All I was gonna say is that you might want to go check your fucking Comcast bill, because mine went up by $3 for no fucking reason. So
it probably did, and I would say to Comcast,
What do you mean there?
What do you mean there?
I'm about to call him after this.
Talk us out, Steve.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We definitely got off on a long one there, but I think it was good.
Yeah. Sorry for getting super heated.
No, not that, man. We're good. I think we went to a lot of places with that one article. So, But yeah, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.
See you guys.
Later.
Bye.
Debuff is hosted by me, Steve Skeels, edited and mixed by Mason Carlton. Follow us on Instagram at DebuffPod. That's DebuffPod. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.